Presidents Trump and Biden on the campaign trail.
Our national security depends on us.
And both are South Florida bound. As the midterm campaign heats up, so does the former president's legal concerns. We have team coverage from our DC bureau. Plus, a haunted house in Florida has both action and accessibility.
It's all about scaring people.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Amanda Gray.
I'm Kelly Sanchez. Today is Friday, October 28, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
No confidence. That's the message from the University of Florida faculty to the university's incoming president. The UF presidency is under scrutiny this morning.
The faculty staff voted no confidence in the selection process for the university's president. During a 2-hour-long session last night, some expressed concerns about the selection of Nebraska U.S. Senator Ben Sasse.
At the end of the day, it's important to hear how the students and faculty, since the next president is going to be starting watching over our entire community.
Students hope the Board of Trustees will review their concerns. The board meets again on Tuesday next week when Ben Sasse returns to the university to be interviewed, and a selection will then be made. Developing this morning, an attack in his home has injured the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Paul Pelosi was attacked early this morning in San Francisco. That's according to the Democratic Speaker's office, which said Mr. Pelosi is expected to make a full recovery. A spokesman for the Speaker said the attacker is in custody.
Some high-profile help on the way to South Florida in some of the state's biggest races. As the network's Samuel Rodriguez Garcia reports, Presidents Trump and Biden are both planning speeches in Miami-Dade.
Our national security depends on us having access to the most modern computer chips in the world.
President Joe Biden speaking at a college in Syracuse, New York, about a new semiconductor deal, then flying out to Delaware before setting out on the midterm campaign trail. With election season beginning, President Biden announced a visit to South Florida on Wednesday, a move to raise funds for the Democrat nominees and combat Republicans for hold on the state. The announcement for the rally made Wednesday comes after former President Donald Trump released tickets for his rally on November 6.
We're here at the Miami Fairgrounds, where next weekend former President Donald J. Trump plans to hold a rally in support of Marco Rubio. Interestingly enough, the current Florida governor and Republican Ron DeSantis has not been invited to this rally.
Governor Ron DeSantis found himself in a bit of hot water earlier this week after hesitating to answer a question by Charlie Crist in a recent debate.
I have a question for you. You're running for governor. Why don't you look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them, if you're reelected, you will serve a full 4-year term as governor? Yes or no?
Well, listen, I know that Charlie's interested in talking about 2024 and Joe Biden, but I just want to make things very, very clear. The only worn-out old donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist.
Samuel Rodriguez reporting for the South Florida Media Network.
Stay with the South Florida Media Network for coverage on both President Biden's visit on Tuesday and former President Trump's visit next Sunday. Meanwhile, the former president is also dealing with legal trouble this morning. We have team coverage from our DC bureau, beginning with the network's Lydia Delgado.
Jurors will determine in the New York State Supreme Court if the Trump Organization did indeed take part in an alleged 15-year scheme involving paying executives with off-the-book benefits such as luxury cars and private school tuition. The New York Post reported that out of 18 potential jurors questioned earlier this week, 11 were dismissed after expressing a strong dislike of the former president. Finally, 12 were selected Thursday. Trump's company faces 9 charges, including tax fraud, conspiracy, and falsifying business records. Jurors will hear from Trump's longtime chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, who this summer pleaded guilty to 15 felony counts. He will be the star witness.
The company can't go to jail, but this can be very, very problematic for his company.
The Trump Organization has pleaded not guilty, and Trump himself is not expected to testify or attend court proceedings. However, Trump could still face criminal charges.
Is not personally charged. I don't expect that that's going to change, although it obviously could.
This criminal trial is separate from the New York State Attorney General's civil lawsuit that says Trump, the Trump Organization, and his 3 oldest children allegedly misrepresented assets to get favorable loan rates and tax benefits. This trial is expected to last until early December and comes as Trump faces several other investigations. Reporter Michelle Morris has more details.
Yes, Lydia, and that's not the only thing the former president has recently been in headlines for. And as days go by, his legal issues continue to pile up.
Presidents have been both requested and subpoenaed to appear before Congress in the past, but these circumstances are different because of the historic nature of former President Trump's action.
The 45th president was subpoenaed by the committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. Committee Chair Benny Thompson and Vice Chair Liz Cheney explained in the cover letter to Trump that they have assembled overwhelming evidence, including from dozens of your former appointees and staff, that you personally orchestrated and oversaw a multi-part effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election and obstruct the peaceful transition of power.
We are going to proceed in terms of the questioning of the former president under oath. It may take multiple days. And it will be done with a level of rigor and discipline and seriousness that it deserves. He's not going to turn this into a circus. This isn't going to be, his first debate against Joe Biden and the circus and the food fight that became. This is far too serious set of issues.
Also, keep in mind, just a couple of months ago, the FBI raided the former president's Mar-a-Lago estate. Some of the classified documents recovered allegedly include sensitive intelligence regarding Iran and China, which could possibly result in a federal indictment. And Trump continues to criticize the committee's work.
They broke into my house, and they should give me immediately back everything that they've taken from me, because it's mine. It's mine.
Trump's lawyers have accepted the subpoena, and now the former president and his legal team have until November 4th to turn over any documents sought out in the subpoena and until November 14th to testify at a deposition. In Washington, D.C., reporting for South Florida Media Network, Michelle Morris.
As early voting continues throughout Florida, Miami-Dade County Elections Department took to Twitter to remind voters of an important deadline. The deadline to request a vote-by-mail ballot in Miami-Dade is tomorrow, October 29th by 5 p.m. Your request must include your name, signature, date of birth, address, and a Florida identification card or your social security number.
Yesterday, the world's richest man sealed the $44 billion deal to own Twitter. Tech giant Elon Musk took to Twitter yesterday to confirm his acquisition of the app. Musk began his Twitter ownership by allegedly firing top executives of the social media network, including the chief executive. Many are concerned about what changes the self-proclaimed free speech absolutist will bring to Twitter.
U.S. pediatric hospitals are near capacity as RSV cases spike across the country. According to data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, pediatric hospital beds are more full now than at any time in the past 2 years, and flu season is looming. As the network's Alexa Velez reports, doctors fear the health risks could worsen in the coming weeks.
A dangerous spike in a common respiratory illness known as RSV is pushing hospitals across the country to capacity.
We have seen well over 150 cases per week recently.
Pediatric hospitals are more full now than in the past 2 years, according to an analysis of data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Rhode Island's Hasbro Children's Hospital is currently at 125% capacity. Seattle health officials say they are seeing 20 to 30 RSV cases per day in hospital and urgent care clinics.
We're seeing a lot of RSV right now. My hope is that turns around. What worries me is if we then add influenza and COVID on top of that, that's where I think we can start getting into trouble.
The influx of young patients filling hospitals is forcing those with less urgent illnesses to wait for hours, sometimes even days, to be admitted.
But we got to make sure those beds are open for those kids.
Doctors say parents should be on the lookout for severe symptoms and seek medical care immediately.
What you're looking for is maybe a fever that goes higher and higher, really labored breathing, a baby who's, huffing and puffing, looking like they just ran a mile or crawled a mile. If they're grunting like, if their lips are turning blue, or if they're just so lethargic because they can't get enough air into their bodies.
I'm Alexa Velez reporting for the South Florida Media Network.
A program at Broward Animal Services allows you to take a dog on an outing without committing to an adoption. The network's Vanessa Garcia has more this morning on the Broward Buddies program.
The Broward County Animal Care offers the Broward Buddies program, where volunteers are able to sign up to help improve the lives of sheltered dogs that are in need of a home.
Well, the Broward Buddies program has been very successful. It's been going on for 4 years. It's a one-of-a-kind program here
at the shelter. No other shelter out in South Florida does this program, just us. The exact motive of this program is to enrich our shelter dogs through exercise and mental stimulation.
The program allows volunteers to set a date and take a dog out of the shelter for the day, which gives them the chance to interact with the community at parks, restaurants, and many more locations. Volunteers build companionship with these animals, allowing them to roam freely outside of the kennels for a couple of hours, creating awareness about the facility and spreading the word on the importance of fostering a dog.
The program is just, it's made me feel so much better. You know, giving back to the community, it enriches your life as a whole, just, you know, gives you that, you know, warm, fuzzy feeling that you're looking for. The community has been impacted greatly. Most of these dogs that we are able to take out for the day, a lot of them are ended up adopted. Sometimes the same day we've been able to get these dogs adopted.
While the Broward Buddy is outdoors, the volunteers carry Broward Buddy's business cards in case someone's looking into adopting the pet or seeking their information. The number of abandoned dogs increases every day, but the Broward Buddies is a program where dogs will not have to feel alone anymore. For more information and learning how to volunteer, you can visit www.broward.org. This is Vanessa Garcia reporting for the South Florida Media Network.
A sad morning for South Florida sports fans after both the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers lost road games. After falling to the Golden State Warriors 123-110 last night, Miami is just 2-4 in the season. After losing to the Philadelphia Flyers 4-3, the Panthers slipped to 4 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. Both play afternoon games tomorrow.
One South Florida city is protecting against hair discrimination.
That's still ahead, and so is the story. Just in time for Halloween, a haunted house in Florida that is designed with disabilities in mind. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Haunts and Help. It's a Halloween attraction in Florida with a special emphasis on access. Today we get a sneak peek of a haunted house attraction near Tampa that is created by adults with developmental disabilities.
At the Park Center for Disabilities in St. Petersburg, the Vice President of Adult Community Programs says preparing for the annual haunted house adds life skills for everyone.
An awesome team building experience. It has a social component to it. There's a lot of organizing that's going on. There's a lot of planning that has to happen. There's a lot of inventory lists that we have to make, and our participants are taking an active role in that.
Rothy says the best part of planning is that the participants talk about the experience all year long. The haunted house opens this Halloween weekend.
New legislation passed at Miami Beach ensuring that everyone is protected from hair discrimination. On Wednesday, the City Commission unanimously passed an ordinance that bans discrimination on the basis of someone's texture or style of hair. Miami Beach is the latest city to adopt these new protections, which specifically fights race-based hair discrimination when seeking housing, employment, and use of Miami Beach facilities.
Winner of our very own winning the best of the show. Freshman Esteban Rodriguez won a scholarship for his horror comedy film, Slumber Symposium. Latino Art Beat is a national nonprofit that offers an annual visual arts competition, giving young artists award opportunities. That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Kelly Sanchez.
I'm Amanda Gray. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.